Hello students, so let's continue with the problems on proportion. So here is my next problem on proportion. So I read out the problem. So it is problem number 7. If 10 men earn rupees 180 in 18 days working 6 hours a day, question is how much will 15 men earn in 24 days working 8 hours a day? Yeah. If 10 men earn 180 rupees in 18 days working 6 hours a day, so we have to find how much will 15 men will earn in 24 days working 8 hours a day. So what they have asked here, they have asked you to calculate the earnings. What will be the earnings, income of how many persons or how many men? 15 men for it is 24 days if they are working 8 hours a day. So earnings we have to calculate. So as it is, what you have to do first? So from the given problem, first you have to put the equation. So let's first put the equation. So how equation you have to put? That is, it is 15 men. Sorry, 10 men. If 10 men working how many hours? Because earning they have asked, so this earning we have write at the end. So 10 men, right? Working how many hours? Working 6 hours in how many days? In 18 days. Earn rupees how much? 180. So what do you have to find? We have to find it is how much will 15 men, right, working how many hours? Working 8 hours in how many days? In 24 days can earn how much? 15 men working 8 hours in 24 days can earn. That earnings we have to calculate. So like this equation you have to put. Now here we are having how many ratios? 4 ratios. Man, hours, days and earnings. Now one by one, what you have to do? You have to compare these 3 ratios with the earnings and check whether those ratios are in direct proportion or in inverse proportion. So let's compare one by one. So first compare number of men with the earnings. So 10 men, we know 10 men can earn how much? 180. So if 10 men can earn 180 rupees, then 15 men can earn how much? More or less. Means what will be the earnings of it is 15 men, more or less. So definitely if there are more men, so earnings will be more only, right? More persons will earn more income and less persons will earn less income. So your number of men have increased from 10 to 15. And due to increasing number of men, the earnings are also increasing. So here both are increasing. So when both are increasing or when both are decreasing, it is said to be which proportion? Direct proportion. So here number of men are in direct proportion. So below this, you put number 1 and write the number of men is in direct proportion. Yeah, like this. In the same manner, now you have to see the number of hours, whether they are in direct or inverse. So if they are working 6 hours daily, how much they can earn? 180 rupees they can earn. So instead of working 6 hours, now if they are working 8 hours daily, so how much they can earn or how much they will earn? More or less. So definitely they will earn more only, because if you work for more hours, right, your earnings will be more. You will get more and more earnings if you work for more and more hours. And if you work for less hours, your earning will be less. So you are working here for more hours, and due to increase in hours, your earnings also will increase. So again here both are increasing. Number of hours already have increased from 6 to 8, and due to increase in hours, my earnings are also increasing. So when both are increasing or when both are decreasing, it is said to be which proportion? Direct proportion. So number of hours are also in direct proportion. So here you have to put number 2 and write the number of arts is in direct proportion. Yeah, like that we have to compare now number of days with the earnings. So if you work for 18 days, how much you can earn? 180 rupees you can earn. So instead of working for 18 days, if you work for 24 days, which if you work for more days, so how much you can earn? More or less? So definitely you will earn more only, because if you work for more days, you will get more earnings, and if you work for less days, you will get less earnings. So your earnings depends on the number of days. Means if you work for less days, less earnings you will get. If you work for more days, you will get more earnings. So your number of days have increased from 18 to 24, and due to increase in number of days, your earnings are also increasing. So again, here both are increasing. That means number of days are also in direct proportion. Yeah, days have increased from 18 to 24. So put number 3 here and write the number of days is in direct proportion. So like this, first we have to check whether these ratios are in direct or inverse, and after recognizing whether they are in direct or inverse, then accordingly we have to put the proportion. So let's put the proportion now. So one by one, accordingly you have to go on writing the ratios. So how to write the proportion directly when there are more than two ratios? So already we have seen in previous problems. So first here we see which ratio? Men. So number of men are in what it is? Direct proportion. So when it is direct, so how you have to write the ratio? You have to write as it is 10 is to 15. So number of men are in direct, so ratio is written as it is 10 is to 15. Then next is what? Hours. They are also in direct proportion. So ratio will be what it is. Direct means how you have to write 6 is to 8. So just below this you write the ratio of hours as 6 is to 8. Then next is what it is? Days. They are also in direct proportion. So ratio of days is written as 18 is to 24. So here I will write 18 is to 24. And all these three ratios we have write equal to the last ratio. So here I have forgotten to assume, because I don't know the earnings of it is how many men? 15 men. So those earnings I will assume as rupees X, right? So last ratio is always written in direct proportion, so it is written as it is 180 is to what it is? X. So this is called as my proportion. And now to find out the value of X, what you have to do? You have to apply the rule of proportion. What the rule says? In proportion, the product of extremes is equal to the product of means. Right? In proportion, the product of extremes is equal to the product of means. So last terms are called as extremes, middle terms are called as means. So multiply them separately. So first you multiply these extremes on one side, means on another side. So my extremes are what it is? 10, right, into 6 into 18 into X. This is equals to, my means are, it is 15 into 8 into 24 into 24 into 180. Now what I want here, I want X value, so bring this X outside. Means keep this X here only. Transfer 10, 6 and 18 equal to that side. So all these multiplication becomes division. So it is X is equal to, this remains as it is. 15 into 8 into 24 into 180. This remains as it is divided by, transfer these three values equal to that side. So it is divided by this 10, is multiplied by this 6 and is multiplied by what is 8. And now divide this, simplify. So it is X is equal to, so X is equal to, so it is 6 1s are 6 4s are, it is 24. Then this 18 get cancelled, this 10, this 10 get cancelled. So 15 4s are, it is 60, 16 into it is what it is? 8. you will get 480 rupees. Yeah. So 480 rupees is the earnings of how many men? 15 men. If they work 8 hours daily, in how many days? In 24 days. So if 15 men work for 8 hours, so in 24 days they can earn how many rupees? 480 rupees. Yeah. So this is how you have to solve the problem on proportion. So I hope this is clear to you all, or we will take the next sum on this. So here is the next problem on proportion, that is problem number 8. So I will read out the problem once again. So question is, if 10 men can construct a tank 3 meters long, 2 meters broad and 1.5 meters high in 40 days, working 9 hours a day, in how many days will 16 men construct a tank 4 meters long, 3 meters broad and 2 meters high, working how many hours? Working 8 hours a day. Yeah. So what you have to find here? You have to find the how many days, right? How many days are required for how many? It is for 16 men to construct a tank which is 4 meters broad, right? 3 meters high, 4 meters long, 3 meters broad and 3 meters broad and 2 meters high, working how many hours? Working 8 hours a day. So that is the question. So there is a tank to be constructed, right? There is a tank to be constructed, and to construct a tank, if we employ 10 men, right? So if that tank is to be constructed 3 meters long, 2 meters broad and 1.5 meters high in 40 days, and if they working 9 hours, so how many days are required for them? It is 40 days are required. So what we have to find, if you want to construct a tank which is 4 meters long, 3 meters broad and 2 meters high, right? With how many men? 16 men working 8 hours. How many days are required? That we have to calculate. So again, as it is, you have to put the equation, right? As we have put the equation in earlier sum. So like that, first we have to put the equations, and then one by one we have to compare all the ratios with the ratio asked or the question asked. What is the question asked here? Now number of days they have asked, so we have to compare with the number of days. So let's first put the equation. So my equation will be, for it is how many men? For it is 10 men. For 10 men to construct a tank which is 3 meters broad, then it is 2 meters, it's 3 meters long, it is 2 meters broad and 1.5 meters high, right? Working how many hours? Working 9 hours. How many days are required? 40 days are required. Yeah, how many days are required? 40 days are required. And we have to ask for how many men they have asked here? For 16 men. So for 16 men to construct a tank which is how many meters long? 4 meters long, then it is 3 meters broad and it is 2 meters high, right? Working how many hours? 8 hours. How many days are required? Yeah. Or better you write, to construct a tank for 16 men, to construct a tank which is 4 meters long, then it is 3 meters broad and 2 meters high, working how many hours? 8 hours. How many days are required? So how many days are required, it is not known. So let's assume how many days we require, x days be required. So like this you have to put the equation, and after putting the equation, now one by one you have to compare all the given ratios with what it is number of days and see whether they are indirect or inverse. So let's compare. So first you compare the number of men with what it is number of days. So if we employ 10 men to construct the tank, if we employ 10 men, how many days are required? 40 days are required. So instead of employing 10 men, if we employ 16 men to construct the same tank, right? To construct the same tank, if we employ 16 men, so how many days it will take? How many days they will take? More or less. So if more men are working, so number of days required will be less only. So definitely they will complete the work in less number of days. They will not take more number of days. If number of men employed are more. So here number of men have increased from 10 to 16, and due to increase in number of men, number of days required are decreasing. So as the number of men to do the work increases, number of days required to do the work decreases. So here one is increasing, another one is decreasing. That means number of men are in what it is inverse proportion. So below this you put number 1 and write the number of men is in direct proportion. Clear? Then after comparing the number of men, now we have to compare the length, right? If length of the tank. So if you want to construct a tank which is 3 meters long, right? If the length is 3 meters long, okay, it takes how many days? 40 days. So if you want to construct a tank which is 4 meters long, so how many days it will take? More or less, right? So as the length of the tank increases, so number of days required to construct also increases. Means as the work increases, number of days required to construct also increases. So here the length of the tank has increased from 3 meters to what it is 4 meters. So due to increase in the length of the tank, my number of days required to construct are also increasing. So here both are increasing, right? So when both are increasing or when both are decreasing, so it is said to be what it is direct proportion. So here the ratio of long, right? Here the ratio of long is in what it is direct proportion. So here you put number 2 and write the ratio of long is in direct proportion. So here I have done the mistake here. Number of men are not in direct proportion, it is in inverse proportion. So here first one I am taking inverse, right? Number of men is in inverse proportion, not in direct. So by mistake I have written here direct. So you can correct that, right? Then here next one is the ratio of long is in what it is direct proportion. Like that we have to compare the next ratio, that is broadness, right? The width. If the width of the tank, right, if the broadness of the tank is 2 meters, right, so to construct it takes how many days? 40 days. So if the broadness of the tank is 3 meters, so how many days it will take, right, more or less. So as the broadness of the tank increases, so the number of days required to construct also increases. So as I told, as the work increases, number of days required to construct also increases. So here the ratio of broad, the width of the tank has increased from 2 meters to 3 meters, and due to increase in the broadness of the tank, right, so number of days required to construct are also increasing. So both are increasing here. So the ratio of broad is in what it is direct proportion. So put number 3 and write the ratio of broad is in direct proportion. So I hope it is understanding to you, right? So first ratio is in inverse, second ratio is in direct, third ratio is also in direct. So we have compared the ratio of broadness. Now we have to compare the height of the tank, right? So to construct a tank which is 1.5 meters high, right? If the height of the tank is 1.5 meters, if you want to construct a tank which is 1.5 meters high, it takes how many days? 40 days. So if you want to construct a tank which is 2 meters high, right? How many days it will take? More or less? So definitely it will take more number of days, because the height of the tank has increased from 1.5 meters to 2 meters. So as the height of the tank increases, the number of days required to construct also increases. So the ratio of height has increased from it is 1.5 meters to 2 meters, and due to that number of days required are also increasing. So both are increasing. So that means the ratio of height is also in direct proportion. So below this you put number 4 and write the ratio of height is in direct proportion. Yeah. And now lastly we have to compare the number of hours with the number of days. So if they work 9 hours daily, right? If you work 9 hours daily, to construct the tank it takes how many days? 40 days. So instead of working 9 hours daily, now if you work only 8 hours daily, so how many days it will take to construct the tank? More or less. So definitely it will take more days, because now you are not working for 9 hours, you are working 1 hour less. So if you work for less hours, definitely it will take more time to construct the tank. So and if you work for more hours, it will take less days to construct the tank. So here the number of hours have decreased from 9 hours to 8 hours, and due to decrease in hours, number of days required to construct the tank are increasing. So one is decreasing, another one is increasing. So it is said to be what it is? Inverse proportion. So hours are said to be in an inverse proportion. So put last number here 5 and write there the hours is in inverse proportion. Yeah, like this. And last ratio is always written in direct proportion. So like this. First one by one you have to see whether they are in inverse or direct, and accordingly now you have to put the proportion, right? So let's put the proportion. So first ratio is of what it is man, and it is in inverse. So how you have write the ratio of man if it is in inverse? So it is written as 16:10. Opposite we have write. So it is written as 16 is to what it is 10. Then next ratio of it is long, and it is in what it is direct proportion. So ratio of long is here. So it is in direct. So it is written as 3:4. So you have write here 3 is to what it is 4. Next ratio is of what it is broadness. It is also in direct. So this is the ratio of broad. It is 2:3. Direct means it is written as 2:3. So here I have write 2:3. Then the ratio of it is height, right? So height is also in direct proportion. So it is written as what it is 1.5 is to what it is 2. And last ratio is hours. So hours are in what it is inverse proportion. So it is written as what it is 8:9. Opposite we have write 8:9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ratios. So these 5 ratios we have write equal to the last ratio, and last ratio is always written in direct proportion as it is 40 is to what it is x. So this is how you have to put the proportion. Yeah. And now what I want? Now I want the x value, right? I have to calculate the x value. To calculate the x value, what you have to do? You have to use the rule of proportion. What the rule says: in proportion, the product of extremes is equal to the product of means. Yeah. So multiply these extremes on one side and means on another side. Yeah. So multiply, now separate. So these extremes are 16, 3, 2, 1.5, 8 and x. So write that. It is 16, right? Into it is 3, into it is 2, into it is 1.5, into it is 8, into it is x, right? Into x. This is equals to your means are, it is 10 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 9 into it is 40. Yeah. Now what I want here, I want x value, so straight away you bring x outside. So take this x outside. So x is equal to, so this is equals to, this remains as it is, 10 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 9 into 40. This is divided by, transfer all these values equal to that side, all these multiplications becomes division. So it is divided by 1, divided by 16, divided by this 3, then divided by this 2, divided by this 1 point, it is 5, and divided by what it is 8. Yeah. And now divide this. So if we divide, so these two get cancelled, these three get cancelled. Yeah. Then 8 ones are, 8 fives are, it is 40. These 4 ones are, 4 fours are, it is 16, right? Then this decimal point, if we cancel, right, so at the numerator place you have to put 1 0, this decimal point get cancelled. So 15 and 50 is divisible by what it is 5. So 5 threes are, 5 ones are, right? Then these 3 ones are, it is 3 threes are, then it is 2 twos are, 2 fives are, 2 ones are, 2 fives are. So you multiply. So 5 into 3 15, 15 into 5 is how much it is, 75. So your x, right, x value comes to how much it is, it is 75 days, right? Or you can write here, if your x value, therefore your x value comes to this, how many days it is, 75 days. After simplifying this, yeah, after simplifying this, if you simplify this, right, so it comes to how much it is, 75 days. So you can divide and you can see, so it comes to 75 days. So for the 16 man to construct 4 meters, to construct a tank which is 4 meters long, 3 meters broad and 2 meters high, if they work 8 hours daily, so how many days are required? 75 days are required. Yeah. So this sum is also frequently asked in the exam. For how many marks it is? 7 or 8 marks. Okay. So I hope this is clear to you all, right? So in the next class I will come with some more problems on a day's proportion. Thank you.